Even in a world of peace, anyone seeks to get stronger. Johan Aopon, a tournament between the races to find those new talents most promising. All have trained for years to have a singular chance for the top, but only in isolation amongst their own kin. These are the new candidates that were chosen to represent their own, but can they measure up to all the others? Humans are the rulers of the world, but absolute power will always bring one's end. Yo there, fellow students! You gotta be the ones who gotta represent our school, I guess, given that they do look really strong. Really can't stand that Fornhan couldn't get a word what he was saying, but just the way he said it, it gets me right under my skin. I'm Ponsan, just your average guy who put a lot of effort into swinging a bit with a sword. And yeah, already said it. But we are from the school, Fornhan.Ponsan, mentioning just for completionist's sake and all. 24, I guess we are all a bit old. You just can't start with the school when are out of school directly, or you're just not attuned enough to get high grades, is what Barry always says. Also 185, and human. Wouldn't be allowed to take part in this otherwise. In it's a case, using the boring sword and shield combo. One-hander in one hand and safety feature on the other. Oh, reliable, always gotta get ya some results. Not the brightest guy you'll find, but I know how you swing a sword until you win. Guess I can't show my full power in this one. And about that points. Not toughing sooner hit to win a fight, but you gotta stay unharmed in a fight with friends. And we all gotta deal with the point rule. Well, points also show your ability to adapt to a situation. If you only ever use your head to ram into the door, you won't be able to realize that the key lies under the doormat. If you can win without getting hit, is that always better than winning by losing an arm and a leg. And after that, you can also consider that you should also be able to handle a real hit and don't just immediately give up. I am Barry Williams, and the one called the most promising new hunter this year. There are quite a lot of people who have eyes on my result, so I have to try a little bit harder than the rest. As like everyone here am I from the school. I am 24 and 180. And represent humans for the Johan Aopon. If you didn't know, those exchange students from other races are not allowed to take part for our school in the direct fight. They could for their own, but that would just be weird to fight for another school, so hardly anyone would do that. I'll be using a two-handed sword for fighting, as they are most effective used for magic. Much of the magic power is lost on a one-handed sword due to the magic adding weight to the weapon. I would tell it outright. It may be cringy to be called the strongest already, but this is not superstition. I have my reasons why I trained to stand at the top, and I will challenge anyone who opposes that ideal. Prove your worth to me by your actions, or I will dismiss your word as rambling of a madman. Whoa there! Having trained that line before, I would know a lot of guys that could crush you in an instant as you are now. But that's what we call promising talent. They are not at the top but aspire to be, and are promised to reach it. But really, it would be a shame if such a talent gets over their head and finds an early demise, before they could reach their potential. I am Marcel Ritchie, the third and last member of the Fornhan.Ponsan school, to take part in the Johan Aopon. Let's see what these others have to offer. This could be a fun event after all. We have some confident guys around here, but that just makes it all the more fun when they lose. The more confidence you have in your victory, the more crushing is your defeat. You know how they say, the higher you climb, the deeper you fall. I am with the others here in the same range of being 25 and 175. Human as all. Wanna prove I have red blood, just like every human. At least this way you can ensure I'm not one of those magical creatures without red blood. Or maybe I'm just tricking you with some simple color changing magic. Who knows? Gotta use my trusty daggers. This will be quite the handicap with how scoring works. So it should crank up the notch to make this a lot more fun. You all talk about honor and toughing out a hit, but in a real fight would I hardly only use daggers as is, and honor is only for the dead, who were too honorable to win the fight. The victors are always the ones who write history. So Barry, you are the strongest. Would you be able to beat me as well if you fight for real? We won't be crossing swords in this, as we are the same race, so I have to go by your word. You always ignore my challenges too, outside of when you are forced to do so. Marcel, I cannot stand you, but let me tell you this. You are strong, and I know that you are not showing all your cards. I will not fight someone without reason. and the fight you seek is one to the death. In a fight with rules will you never be able to beat me. How tragic. I was hoping to get some more enjoyment out of playing with you, but someone who knows their limits is just no fun. Just shut up, Marcel! You blabber, blabber, blabber. All you ever do is talking. No one likes you, and that's not gonna change with you acting like that. So, I am not as part of the fights here. I'm just here as support for the exhibition fight. It is not as if you need to know, but here I go anyways. I'm Liederli Fahrgraf. I am here as support for Alemho. I suck in these show fights, so these other three will do them. But in tandem with Alemho, in real fights I excel quite a lot. I'm 25, like that idiot over there, and 168. But don't be fooled by my small size. There is a lot of wham behind it. As I am not part of the direct fight, will I be rocking a real weapon. In my sealing lance, made to force the opponent's magic. It's one of those weapons they tell you not to use, but I can make it work, so it's all fine. Sorry, Alemo! Sumehi konami karen file hyk me kupone hitna. Hifne leg ulo hyks rast hyk sial hyks FIFA hemo konal sumehi konami cash kole hyk. Nimnon euram frongo kehelt fi konami nago cash sumele hyk hifne kykno hyks ruppi. Hatel hykna hyf firme nago hyk kylir hyf. De hulle rulle hyf. Nago folk lo ger komikelt. Juliahen nuherim hyk olofe hyk upohen.